Hello students, I am Dr. V. Premala Priyadarshini here with you to teach you on the topic Hospital Food Service. Today's presentation of mine will have a brief introduction on food service in hospitals, the objectives of this model, different types of hospital food service systems, their advantages and disadvantages, and of course a summary of what we have learned. Food service in scientific term implies the skill of providing a balanced food in a most appealing and an aesthetic way away from home. Food being a fulcrum of our mere existence, the service of the same in the hospital towards patient care is inevitable. Hospitals in general look forward for holistic patient care, including provision of nutritional support for a speedy recovery. As clinical and pathological conditions demand for an exclusive nutrition support like enteral and parenteral feeding, majority of the patient depends on simply on their nutritional state for a quick recovery. How does a hospital food service differ from a hotel food service? Serving food in a hotel purely depends on the wish and the preference of a customer, and he chooses what he wants to, whereas in a hospital, the patient eats what is prescribed to him by a dietitian in accordance to his disease conditions. Food in hotel is most of the time an a la carte, that is, according to the order, and hence it is cooked in small quantities. Here, in hospital food service, food is cooked in bulk and distributed to the patients just before the meal timings. Customers have a variety of choices. Patients seldom have any choices. Treating the patient is the prime function, and hence food in hospital plays an important part in speedy recovery of the patient. As you all know, hospital dietary functions with a team of dietitians, nurse to feed the patient, and a dietary staffs to cook diet, set diet trays according to the diet prescribed, and distribute the set diet. Let me start our today's lesson with an overview on hospital food service. As the name suggests, a hospital food service involves a multiple functional activities in a hospital dietary, such as a diet planning, food purchasing, food production, management of human resource in the process of diet setting and distribution system, updating of food service technology, and organization of food service, no matter whatever be the disease condition. Maintenance of nutritional status and raising up to the nutritional challenges in response to the metabolic demand is the prime objective of any hospital food service. Food given to an inpatient cannot solely be regarded as something that is prescribed by a dietitian. Their social culture, food likes and dislikes, metabolic requirements, and palatability must be given due importance. Therefore, a hospital meal should be provided in a proper environment, having choice by a coordinated effort of a physician, dietitian, nurse, and hospital food service personnel. With that note, let us now move on to the classification of hospital food service. Based on the number of patients served, the food service system in hospitals are classified as cook serve, assembly serve, cook chill serve, and cook freeze serve. Irrespective of the food service system, the food ingredients in general are purchased in bulk, and they are cleaned, washed, and are pre-processed for a bulk production. The cooked food either goes in for a hot transportation, that is, they are sent for patient distribution immediately, or chilled and stored for later use, a cold transportation. The stored foods are assembled in the tray according to the diet's prescription and are thawed before serving to the patient. Some food service system also purchase a bulk of cooked food, store it, does a bulk reheating prior to the distribution to the patient. Now let us understand the different types of hospital food service systems in detail. To start with, let us see what a cook-serve food service system is all about. This particular traditional system of food service cooks food freshly before every service of all the 5 meals, namely the early morning tea, breakfast, brunch, lunch, evening tea and dinner. This system is also known as conventional food service system. All hospitals in India commonly practice the cook-serve system of food service since it is safe and fresh. Also, the food is prepared in the same premises, the hospital dietary, where they are held hot or cold and served as soon as possible. Food is generally either plated as in private hospitals or served in bulk like government hospitals. The advantages of this system are, since food is cooked fresh every time before meal time, it ensures a very high degree of quality. The dietary department has a freedom of flexibility in menu planning and preparation. Food is served soon after preparation and hence requires very less space for storage and minimize food wastage. Traditional standardized recipes can be used, novel and innovative recipes can be tried, and personalized patient care is given. And of course, the system have the following disadvantages also. It requires extensive manpower, challenges of meeting a product standard in terms of consistency, taste, texture and quality, particularly when it is cooked in bulk, is worst. Higher food cost which calls for strict cost control measures. Shall we now move on to the next classification, the assembly serve food service system. The process of serving an inpatient with a purchased, pre-prepared or convenient food is called as an assembly service. It is also termed as kitchenless kitchen. The style of service includes highly processed, frozen and dried foods that are partially cooked and which requires minimum cooking before the service. The foods are purchased in bulk or pre-portioned or pre-plated. A bulk purchase usually requires portioning before and after heating at the time of food service, whereas a pre-portioned foods are just need to be assembled and thawed. On the other hand, since pre-plated foods are already portioned and assembled, they require only reheating prior to the service. This kind of food service mainly involves storage, assembly, heating and distribution of food. Since the service relies purely on processed and pre-cooked foods, the labor and equipment cost is comparatively less than the other type of service. Coming to the advantages of assembly food service, it is cost effective in terms of labor cost and equipment cost. It requires less space. The food normally meets all the quality and safety standards, and finally, the food handling and storage is easy and convenient. On the other hand, the disadvantages are food cost is relatively very high, offers very limited choice of menu preferences, monotony of menu, requires high skill of competency in food storage and food handling. Students, I hope so far you're clear with what a cook serve and an assembly service of food system is all about and their advantages and disadvantages. Let me now teach you the next popular food service system. Yes, you're right, the cook chill serve food service system. The process of cook chill serve food service system was introduced in the year 1960 with the main objective to offer hospital patient a high quality food with maximum food safety. Food is prepared in advance and is refrigerated for a later use. The refrigerated food is rethermalized and rethermed, that is reheated at the time of serving using microwaves, retherm carts or conventional oven. Initially, owing to a high electricity and equipment cost, the cook chill serve was not all well received in hospital sector. Later, the concept slowly gained momentum in 1990 due to innovative energy efficiency practices adopted in hospitals and school food service. A well-equipped kitchen to cook food in bulk, a large refrigeration and a reheating unit are the prerequisite to establish a cook-chill-serve system. High establishment cost still serves as a limiting factor in many hospitals. And the benefits of cook-chill are, it is cost effective. This is because since food is cooked in advance and requires only reheating at the time of service, the food and labor cost are dramatically less. Therefore, the need to employ experienced cook is limited. The manpower requirement is also considerably reduced. Additionally, since the diet tray is set and refrigerated in advance, it is enough for the kitchen staff to work for a straight stretch of 8 hours instead of working for 24 hours. Food waste is also minimal as food can be chilled and preserved comfortably for 5 days. The next advantages is feasibility on-site catering. An on-site catering literally implies service of food for various banquets, meeting, and floor activities within the hospital, making it more feasible to cook large amount of food in advance. Followed by this, ease of catering and forecasting is yet another advantage. Since it is very difficult to forecast the number of patients in hospitals, food gets wasted too much. Forecasting the right amount of food to be used each day is simpler with cook-chill because there is no need to get an exact amount of trays needed per day. Food is rotated in a walk-in and it is available on demand whenever needed. Equipment and utility cost, although cook-chill seems to be cheaper with labor and food cost, the equipment and installation cost are significantly more expensive than the other food preparation methods. Patient satisfaction, cook-chill provides a less demanding workload for the kitchen staff in hospital settings, but patients have noticed the difference. From being so confined, food is the only thing a hospital patient can control. Patient satisfaction of food is a large determinant in healing process. If a patient doesn't like the food, chances are that he will not be consuming enough energy and protein for a recovery. Similarly, food quality and satisfaction rating are important determinants of whether or not an unhealthy person will choose to be hospitalized at the facility or not. Dear students, I hope you're clear with all the benefits and disadvantages of cook-chill-serve system. Now it's time for us to learn cook-freeze-serve system. Cook-freeze food products are treated the same way as cook-chill product, but the final product is either super chilled, that is cooled and maintained at a temperature of 1 to 2 degrees centigrade below the freezing temperature of the product, or frozen chilled, that is frozen at a temperature below minus 30 degrees of centigrade and then thawed to 5 degrees centigrade when needed. This allows chilled food delivery to more distant market, facilitate bulk production, reduce the level of product recall. The main limitation of the shelf life of cook-chill on sauce-wide processed products are the degradation of sensory attributes and microbial growth. These attributes depend on the storage condition, that is the time and temperature. Therefore, this method provides extended production against microbial concern. The shelf life of cook-freeze product is limited by structural changes in the food product, that is the ice crystal size and or flavor formation. This is due to the production of chemicals such as formaldehydes and free fatty acids by hydrolysis and oxidation. The shelf life of cook-freeze product is dependent on the chemical composition of the food, the packaging system and the storage condition, that is the time and the temperature at which the food is stored. Food processed using the above technologies are collectively known as refrigerated processed food. The term cook-freeze refers to a catering system that involves the full cooking of food followed by blast freezing and a storage of food at a controlled low temperature of minus 18 degrees centigrade to minus 22 degrees centigrade before controlled and through thorough thawing and regeneration prior to the service. Food can be stored for 2 months at this controlled temperature. For a cook-free system, you require a blast freezer rather than a blast chiller. Suitable storage for frozen foods and preferably a controlled thawing cabinet. Blast freezing can also be used for raw materials and semi-manufactured products. The advantages are ability to maintain a pre-stocked inventory that eliminates problem during peak demand and storage of raw material supply, shelf life extension and ability to supply a distant market, ability to reduce labor, raw material and other costs by 20 to 50% since food is prepared in advance, ability to produce large quantities which improves the cost and efficiency of production. Although reports claims up to 50% reduction in the number of FTE, some studies reported little difference among the conventional cooking, cook-chill and cook-free system in terms of operation and cost. It also provides better control of food production and ability to utilize technologies that provide desirable result. Examples are irradiation or pulsed electric field, since these may have limitation under a low production scale. It has the ability to reduce food waste since byproduct waste can be reused. Unlike conventional cooking, cook-serve system, a cook-chill and related system have the ability to cover any unforecasted demands or loss. The advantages of a cook-free system are simplified employee scheduling, skilled employee work 8 hours a shift, that is Monday to Friday. Separate items can be prepared in batches, limiting the number of times the item need to be prepared. There are no more peak production workload, ensuring that employees can be used consistently during their shift without added stress of peak production. Since workers are separated from the consumption area, the workers would not feel pressured to work faster, not like the chefs in a kitchen during peak hours. Batch preparation can reduce labor cost. Seasonal purchasing provides considerable saving. Extended shelf life in the distribution chain. Foods are frozen and then regenerated on site, solving the problem of moving hot foods. Delivery to units will be faster, less frequent, since batches can be delivered in one large amount in a freezer vehicle. Long-term planning of production and menu becomes possible. Less dependence on price fluctuation. More suitable for vending machines incorporating microwaves. Equipment costs are high, requiring additional freezer space, packaging supplies, reheating equipment. This is a disadvantage. Employees who are required to work weekend may be resentful of employees who don't work weekends. Large ice crystals formed can damage foods, dry it out and break down the physical structure. The food may lose its appearance, causing dissatisfaction among the customers. Thawing is required. It is tedious also. Not all frozen foods can be successfully prepared without extensively modifying the ingredients or recipes. Certain food lose their flavor or texture after freezing. Let us now learn the different types of serving systems followed in hospitals. Serving systems can be divided into centrally plated and decentrally plated systems. In the centrally plated system, food is plated at an assembly line in the central food service production unit and then distributed to the ward. In decentrally plated system, food is plated either by the nurse, the non-buffet or a trolley type, or by the patient, the buffet type. There are advantages and disadvantages by both serving systems. Centralized serving is suitable for use in, for example, gastric ward, but not in children's and psychiatric ward. The system involves extensive transport between the wards and the central kitchen before and after every meal. It also means that work on the ward must be organized to coincide with the meal time. Food will have to be served at specific hours, and if patients happen not to be on the ward at those hours, then other way of providing food must be found. In a decentralized plating, the staff must know the nutrient content of food to be able to secure the patient a sufficient intake. As an alternative, kitchen staff will send or employee personnel to assist the ward staff during serving of meal. The buffet type of decentralized plating makes it easy for the patient to design individual meals. However, the buffet serving system requires kitchen facilities locally at the ward depending on the type of production technology. Remember, both the centrally and decentrally plating requires tight logistic and a range of hygienic consideration. The advantages of central plating are: the prescribed wanted food is served, portion control is effective, the kitchen staff can influence the appearance of the served food, which increase the interest. The food is easy to serve for the staff at the ward. The nutrient content of the food can be secured. The disadvantages are: change in the patient needs and appetite are difficult to cope up with. No extra food is available at the ward to cover an unexpected need. There is a need for an extra personnel in the kitchen. Advantages of a decentral plating: the patient needs and appetite can be coped with. There is a possibility for a daily discussion of food between patient and the ward staff. And the disadvantages are: the kitchen has less influence on the appearance, composition and nutrient content of the served food. Problem with loss of appetite are easily overlooked. There is a need for extra personnel in the ward with the knowledge and time to handle the meal. To summarize, traditional food service systems are based on preparation of the food followed by immediate consumption, also called cook-serve. However, in most hospital environment, immediate serving is not possible due to spread all over nature of most hospital wards. Therefore, a warm holding process is required while the food is distributed. This process or technology is known as cook, hold and serve, and is by far the most widely used technologies in hospitals, food service systems, particularly in India. Students, as a dietitian, it is our responsibility to provide a safe, nutritious and a hygienic food to our patient to foster a healthy living. Thank you for listening. Enrich yourself with more learning. Have a